Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay? Marina, it's just loading you. Annie, can you hear me okay? Yeah, great. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So good morning, Annie. Good morning, Marina. I'll give it just another minute before we get started, but thank you for joining me this morning on Zoom. I'm assuming you got my message. My Facebook streaming icons aren't working at all well, and I can't do it without Nick. So bless her, she's been on every session doing the background stuff so that we can get this posted live to Facebook. So thank you for being so understanding and joining me this morning. A little life hack just whilst I'm hanging on, and just so that I can fill the space with something interesting to say. If anyone suffers with hay fever, I do terribly, but I'm not entirely sure which pollen sets me off. I found this fabulous little pot called Haymax, and it's natural and it's a barrier. So it's like a little wax, like a Vaseline, and you just rub it on the outsides of your nose holes, nostrils, and then do the same just around the eyes, and it helps just to pick up any of the pollen particles which are obviously being blown around by Mother Nature and her elements. And whilst it doesn't rid me completely of my symptoms, it really takes the edge off. So if you don't want to pile the antihistamines in, that's a nice option. Anyway, totally unrelated to Pilates, but little life hack that I picked up. We are going to get ourselves started. It looks like it's just us guys, a nice little trio this morning. We're going to start our practice today seated and keep everything pretty low. And I'm getting a little bit more into the core today, so we'll challenge ourselves a little bit more, maybe with some more technical movements, more integration through the center, and let me know what you think at the end. So I'm going to invite you to come and sit at a comfortable position, which can be anything. You can be kneeling, you might want cushions, blocks for your knees, lower back, whatever it might be. Find something that roots you, where you can feel comfortable just sitting and breathing for a moment. My preference is to sit with a crossed leg. But from here, make sure you can find the seat bones. So root through those seat bones, give the shoulders a lovely roll back and down. And if you're kneeling, root through the feet. Close your eyes when you are ready. And just bring your awareness and your focus to your breath. Where you can take breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through the nose and out through your mouth. Relax the muscles in your shoulders. Let go of any tension in your face. And remind yourself in these moments that you have nowhere else to be but here, and nothing else to do but breathe. Nowhere else to be but here, and nothing else to do but breathe. Breathe in the calm that knowledge brings you. And as you exhale, try and root a little bit more through your contact points, connecting your body to the earth beneath you. Take 3 more deep breaths in and out. And when you are ready, just softly and gently blink your eyes open and come back into this space with me. We will start by moving through the neck and just travel down to the shoulders and the ribs. So from here, sit yourself up tall. You don't have to change your seating position as long as you're comfortable. But have a sense of a balloon perhaps attached to the top of your head, and lengthening through the crown of your head and rooting down through your sit bones or your feet if you are kneeling. Tuck in your chin. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just gently turn your head, just to look over one shoulder. Then breathing in, bring the head back through the middle. Let's breathe out as we do the same on your other side. Breathing in as you move, and out as you turn. And just keep that going. Gently one side to the other. Maybe seeing if you can turn a little bit further into that twist of the neck, but not pushing it to a strain, just to that edge. Just to that edge where you can find the stretch. And let's do one more each side. And then let the head travel back into the centre. Now, once it's there, we'll maintain the tuck-in of the chin, and we're going to drop the left ear to the left shoulder, meaning that you stretch all the way along this right shoulder, into the upper trapezius, into the neck extensors. Try not to swing or fall over to that left side, just allow the head to do the movement. And when you're ready, let that head float back through the middle. And do the same on the other side. And the head float back into the centre. And we'll do just the one more each side, gently drawing in the chin. And let the head come back through the middle. Last one. And the head travels back through the middle. Lovely. This neck's going to feel delicious after all these. And then bring the chin in on the chest. Once again here, just letting the head hang, but drawing the shoulders down the back. And when you're ready, on one of your exhales, just gently roll the head over to one side. And then use an inhale to let the head roll back down through the middle. And then your exhale other side. Start to roll into the neck, easing out those clicks and those crunches, those lumps and those bumps. One more, each side. And then just let that head roll in on the chest. Excuse the cousin it look. Let's exhale and lift up the head. Bring the head back to the middle, back to where it started. Lovely, nice. Okay, so from here we're going to work into the shoulders, get a little bit more stimulation going on through the upper body. So we're going to bend into the right elbow, fingertips to the top of the right shoulder. Don't worry if they don't touch, just towards that area. If that's uncomfortable in any way, you can do your own variation of this. Doesn't matter too much, but root down through both of the sit bones. You're going to reach that right elbow over to the left knee and then circle it round and back to open up all the way through this right rib cage side. So drive forward, there's the inhale, exhale, open up and back. Keep that right sit bone firmly down. Left hand, you can do whatever you want with it. As you get into it and you find a little bit more movement through this right side, I sometimes quite like to push it against that left knee or leg. And again here, it's the same thing. If you're kneeling, you're just coming across the body with that right arm and then opening it up to its side. Beautiful. So the next time you drive that right elbow across to the left side, take it up and lengthen up the arm as you take the arm behind you, press it down, the hand behind the hip, and look over that right shoulder. Make sure you root down through this left hip bone here. You can even press that left hand on the top of your knee, inside of the left thigh. It's up to you. And then untwist, come back to the center. Let's do the same on the other side. So bend into the left elbow, drive across to that right side. Oh, a bit stickier this side for me. Reaching forward and across. And stay with that breathing, that lovely breath pattern. In through the nose, out through your mouth. Energize your body. Keep coming back to the breath. Okay, next one is where we get that length through the arm. We place the hand down near the hip. And we're turning to look over that left shoulder. Beautiful. And then from there, just untwist and unravel. From here, we're going to lean into the sit bones and bring the legs up in front. So if you're kneeling, you need to find your way now onto the sit bones. And we are going to start to roll up and down through the spine. We've got a couple of options. I'll chat you through the two of them, the two that we're going to play around with today. And it completely depends on how you're feeling in your body or what level you want to work your body out at. But our beginner's level for roll up, roll down, or a lighter level, if that's how you're feeling this morning, is to either hold the backs of the knees or the tops of the shins. We start by sitting up tall with the spine. The shoulders are set down the back and we've got the chin gently drawn in. We lean back and tuck our tailbone under and come to the length of your arms. Now note here that your heels need to stay firmly connected to your mat. Then from there, gently pull through the hands and slowly edge your way all the way back up to seated. Lean it back, tuck the tailbone under, lengthen fully into those arms, if you can, and slowly back up. So here you should start to feel that gentle awareness of your core. If that's where you want to stay, please do. If you want something a little bit more challenging, float the arms and allow the wrists to be in line with the shoulder. This exercise isn't just about core strength, it's about this spinal mobility. So round in the back, the heels stay connected. Maybe let's just toy with the lower back to start with. So once you've got that lower back down, start to rebuild the spine, coming back up and resetting. And maybe that's where you want to work. We're not using any momentum through our movement, just sequential strength. If you got the lower back down with ease, maybe see if you can tickle around the mid back, but get one vertebrae down at a time. Deep connection into that core. So you've really got to pull the navel back and find that strong flexion of the spine to establish that connection. If that was easy, will you want to work a bit harder? Try coming all the way down, breathing in at the bottom just as you tap the back of the head. And then as you breathe out, making contact with the vertebrae as they peel back up to seated. So you're not coming up in a straight line. Nice round back. In at the bottom. And then breathing out. Peeling all the way back up. Good work. Use the exhale, or I do anyway, in terms of my teaching, on the most difficult part of your exercise here. So using that long exhale on the way down, that breath in to recuperate at the bottom, and that breath out to come up. So where there's moving and where there's strength, the exhale can often really support us. Yes, last one. Lean it back, tuck it under, through the vertebrae, pull the navel right back. As you peel all the way back up through the spine. And as you do, come up to the top, give the shoulders, excuse me, let me just wet my whistle, a little bit of a roll, maybe just turn the neck from one side to the other. Just loosening off any tension that's crept into your neck. So from here, we're going to come all the way down onto the mat. I'm just whizzing myself around so that my voice is still in the mic, but gently roll down. See if you can take that control that we've just learned all the way down until you're down on the mat space. Back of the head on the mat, neck nice and long. And from here, bring the arms down by your sides and press the arms into the mat. This helps you to keep your collarbone open. Draw the back of the pelvis down and just start to draw the back of the ribs down, and then just start to rock forward and back through the pelvis. A little bit of movement going here. This is useful as well here, not just for movement, but to give you an idea of what your range of movement is like through the pelvis with the feedback of the floor. So if you've done a session with me before where we start standing, we set the posture up whilst we're standing. So from here, we want to find what in Pilates we call a neutral position for the spine. So that means that we need to pull the back of the pelvis down. So that whole pelvis bone is pressing into the mat. As you do that, you should feel like the pelvis just tilts slightly. You can then take a hold of that pelvic floor with a little bit more awareness and control, and you can draw it up. The navel, the belly button, needs to be pulling down towards the back of your spine. But that does not mean that you should be pressing the full spinal column into the mat. Far from it. That would be what we call a full imprint. So it's the back of the pelvis, a gentle pull back through the navel and the back of the ribs with the arms pressing down into the floor. Now from here, we're going to find our first core movement here, which is a tabletop. So we're going to float one leg so that we've stacked the knee directly over the hip and the ankle in line with the knee. And then we're going to do the same with the other leg. So this there sets up a lower abdominal challenge. You should be able to feel the cores all started to switch on for you. Lift that pelvic floor up
and pull that navel back and down. Let's just have a moment with this here. Breathe in 1. Breathe in 2. And 3. One leg and then the other leg down. Little bit of a breather. So from here, we're going to use that as our base movement, okay? Please listen to your body. Take as many breathers as you want to by bringing the feet down, resetting the core, letting the tummy muscles just recover before you come back into it again, because these can layer and become really very intense. So make sure you've got that chin gently drawn in. The back of the pelvis is down, back of the ribs down. We're pressing the arms into the mat and we're floating up the legs again to that tabletop position. Now from here, we're going to straighten up the right leg and push into the heel. I'll give you an alternative for this shortly if it feels a little bit too much, because it is quite tough. But keep the leg as straight as you can. If you can't quite get the leg straight, just soften the knee ever so slightly. Take any tremoring out of the leg that occurs. Leave the lower back long as you exhale and lower the leg down. Inhale at the bottom, exhale to lift it back up and place it back in tabletop position. Same other side, inhaling, pressing into the heel. Exhaling, lower down. Inhale here at the bottom. And exhale, lift back up. So it's quite slow and controlled, meaning that you've got that leg held at a really strong angle for a long time. Now, you don't have to take the leg that low. A small movement is absolutely fine, and then bringing it back in from there. Please listen to your body. What we're watching out for is the pelvis, making sure that it doesn't lift and you don't take all of that movement into the back. We want the core to be doing the lifting, not the back. And the back of the ribs, make sure they don't start to flare, so pull them back and down. The other thing I often see when people move one leg is that the other knee comes in towards the chest to try and counterbalance it and make it a little bit easier. So try and keep that, if you can, in a solid tabletop position. If you give this a couple of goes now and it just feels too hard and you can't keep that core connected, bring the feet down. Same things, back of the pelvis, back of the ribs, but leave the left foot on the floor. And maybe do 5 or 6 reps just on one leg. By placing the left foot on the floor whilst working the right, you can push through that left foot a little, wrapping the tummy muscles that little bit tighter and giving your lower back some support, and then switching your sides over. Okay, so there's something for us all here, depending on how we're feeling. Okay, let's try one more each side, wherever we are. And when you feel even, or when you are even, you can bring one leg and then the other leg down. Whew, a little burny there through that center. That was really, really nice. Now from here, we're going to work an internal and external rotation of the legs, as well as the core, which is incredibly important. We don't do this often enough, sorry. So I'm just going to swivel myself round so you can see fully what I mean through the legs. But from here, we're going to float our legs back up, one and then the other. As you straighten up through your right leg this time, I want you to turn the leg out. Try and keep the left leg still, just in that tabletop position. And the same thing, keep the leg turned out as you lower it down. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, lift it up. If you're working with that left foot on the floor, that's fine. Level it back, same other side. Turn the leg out so the knee and the toes point out. You might feel it really, really trickly. It wants to sort of pull itself back in. And give that a go. Okay, so exactly the same thing, but different position of the legs. and really fight any temptation for your body to pull the leg back to parallel. So you're twisting from the upper leg. Give the knee a good squeeze. Same things apply. You can keep a slight soft bend in the knee if you need to, if getting the leg straight's really tough on you. Keep the ribs and hips magnetically connected. One more, each side. And then take a breather, bringing those legs down. Or a few more each side if you had the feet on the floor. Okay, same thing, back to tabletop. This time, when you straighten up the leg, push into the heel, you're going to turn the leg inward. Swivel myself round. So from the upper leg, turn the toes and the knee in. You might feel some feedback through the lower back, like stretching, maybe the outer leg. Again, not a movement we often consciously try and practice, but it's incredibly important to do so to avoid injuries. Press the hands into the mat, lower that leg down, trying to keep that internal rotation in. Find it back in neutral, same other side. What you might find interesting is it's almost more difficult to try and keep the leg that's not moving in its parallel position. Or I find it so anyway. Let me know what you think. You're doing fab. Let's try and do one more each side. And then when you are even, you can bring the legs down and well and truly relax them. Well done. Good work, good work, good work. Now from here, let those heels drop directly underneath the knees and have the toes pointed forwards. Same thing, pressing the arms into the mat. From here, we're going to tuck the tailbone under and squeeze the bum cheeks. And we need to keep that tuck under locked in as we peel the spine slowly up and off our mats. Lifting the hips as high as we can so that we end up with almost like a ski slope position through the upper body. Now, a few mistakes I often see people make here is they let their knees relax out to the side, which completely softens the position of the glutes. So bring those knees in so that they are in line with the hip bones. Keep the tailbone tucked under, so keep the glutes rock solid, and the ribs and the hips should be connected to each other here, so we're not pushing the chest up, if that makes sense. Now from there, start to lower down through the upper back. So you're rolling through the vertebrae, one at a time, until your coccyx is indeed the last thing to melt down into the mat. And the detail around this, particularly that lowering down of the lower parts of the abdominals, is where real strength gains happen. So if you speed that process up and just lower the lower back down without thinking about the rounding, you're missing out on a lot of pelvic floor training. So let's go again. We're going to peel all the way up. Tuck the tailbone under, squeeze the glutes, lift that pelvic floor up. You can lock it in here as you come all the way back up through the spine, ribs and hips connected, knees in line with hips. Give those bum cheeks a really good squeeze here. And then slowly, all the way down. Don't rush that lower back. You want it to come down piece by piece. Work hard into the core to make that happen. You've got one more like this, okay? I have to really concentrate on that last bit. So lower back presses in, pelvic floor is up, squeeze the bum cheeks, up you come through the vertebrae, one by one, no rush. No rush. Feel the peel. Feel the spine move. Press down through those feet. Strong through this reverse table. And then ever so slowly down we come. Don't rush. Don't rush. Don't rush. Good, well done. Nice work. Bring the knees and the heels together. Allow those arms out wide. Here's the lovely twist. It happens pretty much every session. Drop both knees over to your left side. Turn the head in the opposite direction to your knees. Nice big breaths here. Swing the knees back to the center. Drop them over to their other side. Head in the opposite direction to the knees. And then swing both knees back through the middle. So from here with your arms, you're going to bring them down by your sides and then lift your head and shoulders as you bring the knees in towards the chest. So you try to gaze directly in between the knees if you've got the knees open, or right at the knees if they are squeezed together. Hold on to just your right knee as you lengthen out through your left leg and really lift up that upper back as you squeeze the thigh in towards the chest. So this should hopefully open up through that left leg. Breathing in and out, switch. Push that right leg away, pull your upper body up, squeeze that left thigh in towards the chest. One more each side. Lift those shoulders off the mat. Good, and then both knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a squeeze, relax the head down, and just a little rock from side to side with your head. Beautiful. Release the knees, connect the soles of the feet, let the knees drop out to their respective sides. Arms down by your side, relax the spine, let it fall wherever it falls. Use your hands on those inside thighs if you want to for a little bit of extra pressure in your stretch, or you can just let gravity do its own thing. Breathe in one. Breathe in two. And breathe in three. Hands on your outer thighs, bring the knees into one another. Long legs. Let's find a full body stretch. Take your arms over your head. Lengthen out the legs, release and stretch. From there, push into your heels. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, let your arms travel down. Nod the chin in towards the chest and peel yourself all the way back up to seated. Nice work. Now from here, I'm going to invite you to find a box position. So if you come up onto the knees and onto the palms of the hands and wait for me there, I'll just show those who have trouble kneeling an alternative for cat and cow. Our alternative for cat and cow, where we're weight bearing on the knees, is to sit in this position. So seat bones down and feet in front, knees are bent. And as we find our cow, where we're letting the belly button melt down, we're going to lift up through the chest and pull on the knees. And as we find our cat, we're going to round the back and tuck the tailbone under. So they are your non-weight bearing alternatives for cat and cow. But if you're good on the knees and you're good on the wrists, we'll have the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Let the belly button melt down, lift the head, lift the chest, inner elbows facing one another. Nod the chin in towards the chest, tuck the tailbone under, press into the hands round the back. Big breath in.
Breathing out, let the belly button melt down, lift the head, lift the chest. Push the sit bones back. Last one. And then from there, child's pose stretch. Set the hips back over the heels. Let the head rest on the forearms or on the floor or in your hands. And if child's pose stretch is not the one for you, just come to somewhere comfortable where you can just be. Allow yourself to be. Allow yourself here that space to just breathe. Thank yourself for making the time in your day and in your weekend to move and breathe well. Thank you, body, for showing up for you every day, regardless of its challenges. Every day it serves you. And thank you for practicing with me. Allow your next exhale to be the one that helps you to round back up to a seated position. Come to something comfortable. And as we breathe in, we're going to float our arms up and over our heads together. And as we breathe out, we're just slowly anchoring that down. Breathing in, taking those arms up. And then breathing out, down. Last one. And down. Thank you, lovely people, for joining me. It's turned out to be sunny Saturday bank holiday morning. I hope you're having wonderful plans this weekend, whatever you're doing, whether it's out and about adventuring or just taking it easy, but enjoy it. Have a wonderful time. And if you watch on the catch up, I'm sure Nick will post this in Facebook later. Enjoy.
Thank you so much. That was lovely.
Glad you enjoyed it, Annie.
I feel so much better.
Yay, good. Did you have any friends join you today? Have you got the kids?
They are, but I'm afraid they're causing chaos down here. Well, they're reading and doing Lego. They started off doing the class and did the first part, but they've got distracted. Sorry.
That's okay. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Annie. Thank you for being here.
Feel great. Thank you. Thanks so much.
My absolute pleasure.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. I'm off to join Nick now, so I've got all my stuff packed on the bed. Off I go.
Okay, have a good time.
Thank you very much, babe. You have a great weekend.
I'll see you.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Marina. You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Bye, lovely.